CCP. Now what I'm going to be talking about. One of your favourite dandem, but one who is not that well known. Matter of fact, for many people, this is the first time they're going to see a picture of the infamous Andrew Phang. Real name, Andrew Stevens. He used to quote unquote run a grand spin, but it was bigger than that. In this video, I'm going to tackle the issue of Dons being allowed to run them place. I've done a similar video to this before. And also how they keep the peace in their era, right, while terrorizing others. You see, many so-called scholars actually advocate for this nonsense, while simultaneously condemning extrajudicial killings. These people are confused. Then again, maybe they're trolling, who knows. So, Andrew Phang, may I go into a brief history on him. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of details in terms of the actual crimes them, because I want to more focus on Dons, running quote unquote for them place, right, and the issues surrounding that. I might have to do a separate video, but I'm going into more details, right, on the actual murders them surrounding Andrew Phang. But I'll give you a brief history, right, on the farmer Don, the grandstand. At first, he started out as a little 87, but then he started to get really, really powerful. This was because of two things. One, his backing from the political party was aligned to, the JLP. And two, his links with Dodos and presidential clique. You see, the two of them had the same parents, so it was natural to them link. All major gangs in Jamaica have a parent party. Like how Clan's parents, a PNP, and one other parents, a JLP. Well, Andrew Phang them put a line to the JLP. Those days, gangs were more rigid. Right? The 90 link with the politician and the 87s had to rely on the 90 for funding, weapons, etc. Things change nowadays. We're doing a whole different type of crime situation. Now we see regular 87s making millions of dollars on their own, and then can buy them own guns. Right? So they no longer have to rely on one specific Don, right, one leader. They don't even have to rely on the MP anymore. So now you can see 87, right, just form a group of 3, 4, 5 of them and just start doing them one thing. This make it even harder, right, to fight crime. Trust me. Now for them laws that are coming now, should have come in like 30 years ago, when gangs are actually very rigid and there is more structure involved and you have to go through that smarty and go through that smarty. Now, gangs have been broken down into smaller cells and you do not need to wait for a hand-me-down matic. They can just chop the line and go buy guns themselves and do them one thing. So Andrew Phang wasn't alone. He had some dangerous people around him. People like Fisher, right, and many others. Right, and he quickly rose to the top of the crime food chain, uptown. Right. But then people will tell you, you are the man them of the big links them downtown, Andrew Phang of the big links them uptown. His gang was responsible for major extortion operations in places like Half a Tree. Yes, the man used to walk around and collect them money in Half a Tree. Just like how man used to walk around downtown and collect money, or walk around Spanish Town and collect money. He literally recreated the presidential quick formula uptown. Many of the killings that were happening at the time would not make the news. People used to always complain, how come we not say this in the news and say this in the papers? The accepted theory was that, well, it was bad for business. You see, Grand Spain was very close, well not was, Grand Spain is very close to quote unquote uptown. Many of the places that must surround Grand Spain, well, you see, I want thing people hear about constant killings downtown, Spanish Town and place there. But uptown, so of course the official powers that they would deny this and say that also, but people from them time they would tell us say, right, the reason why certain things they make the news is because it was bad for business. You see, back then there were no local YouTubers, right? There was just mainstream news. So if things never make it to news, enough people never know what go on in Jamaica. It's not like now, where you can go up on YouTube and go up on Instagram and TikTok and certain things. So once it now come to the news regular, people felt more comfortable. Plus, you have situations where you have one product and it costs $10 downtown and it costs $40 uptown. The only way that can happen because people accept this a downtown was very dangerous. So when Andrew Phang them that tear up Grand Spain and the money rivals them did a war and all kind of things like one, right? If that was being pumped on the news, then now people wouldn't be able to say, well, this place safe and this place isn't. But I say that was the accepted theory and why more people never know Andrew Phang them are warm. It's a plausible theory, but one that would be denied by the powers that be. So Andrew Phang and Theme 87 then had their fair share of rivals. At one point, the man from Morgan Lane and things, right, from Wacklepen and things. But Andrew Phang them things kind of organized, as I say. They take a lot of learnings from Dodos and West Kingston and applied right in a film system. But as his notoriety grew, he would end up coming under more and more scrutiny because at this point, right, he just can't hide no more. Things are going on where just cannot be suppressed. Even if it now come on news, it's very obvious. People are say yellow tape, people are here say double murder going over here, so all kind of shootings. Even policemen start dead because people go here say, right, it linked back to the same war between Andrew Phang and his rivals. Ultimately, his time and his luck will run out. He will be killed in 2001 by the now disbanded CMU, that's the Crime Management Unit. His death caused protests in Afghanistan, as is customary, for your leader. The manner in which he was killed was very controversial, right? Now, residents say it was a straight-out execution by the CMU. Interestingly enough, in 2014, his son, right, who was 18 at the time, Shaquille Stevens, was killed in a similar fashion by the police as well. So father ended up dead, right, and son ended up dead. I'm telling them about them legacy there already. So as I say, Andrew Phang dead 2001, which is the same year as Willie Agat. Why does that matter? Well, Willie's funeral was very controversial because of the presence of prominent members of the PNP. Politicians like Dr. Omar Davis, Carl Blythe, and Peter Phillips turned up at Willie's funeral to pay their respects to their fallen comrade. Matter of fact, there's an infamous pic of all of them sitting together, right, and it ended up cause a public storm. There was a time when it was normal for politicians to attend funerals of their 90-octanes, their children, their spawns. Suddenly, it became taboo. For whatever reason, during this time period, the Jamaican public side said, you know what, this can't work anymore. Maybe it's because by that point, pictures start getting more popular than the one, One time I just hear about certain things, but now people are see it, and as I say, that picture really never went down well with too many people. So, after seeing the backlash where the PNP them get from Willie Haggard's funeral, when it was time for Andrew Phang's funeral, the MP for the constituency where Grand Spain was a part of decided that he would avoid the PR disaster by having somebody else read the eulogy that he wrote. Yes, one of your favorite politicians wrote Andrew Phang's eulogy. Who was this MP, you may ask? Well, it's Jamaica's current Minister of Justice, Delroy Chuck. You can't make this up. The eulogy was so touching, I don't even think Nelson Mandela or Marcus Garvey or Malcolm X eulogy can compare. I mean, you'd almost swear say he was talking about the person who invented the cure for cancer on the Big C. It would mention the various tricks that they done utilize to gain support from the residents. But when the eulogy got really interesting is when it started to get closer to the end. But the part of the eulogy where really shocked enough people is when time them say these words. I'm going to give you a direct quote from the eulogy. Yes, the eulogy that was written by Jamaica's current Minister of Justice, Delroy Chuck. Remember, he's writing this for Andrew Phang. I quote, "I will miss you because I know you cared. There are those who misguidedly believe you did my dirty work, pushed my political agenda, or did my biddings." Let me start this one. For some of you might think I'm trolling right now. I know. From time to time I am known to troll hard. This is not one of them times. Just so we understand what I'm going, these are the actual words, the eulogy for Andrew Phang, written by Delaware Chuck. I will start again. I will miss you because I know you cared. There are those who misguidedly believe you did my dirty work, pushed my political agenda, or did my biddings. Let me start that. When somebody have to say that, when you have to add that in the eulogy, that's already spooky, I quote again. I will miss you because I know you cared. There are those who misguidedly believe you did my dirty work, pushed my political agenda, or did my biddings. You know that was not true. Anyway, let me get back to reading the rest of the eulogy. Let the record show, and this is a direct quote again, let the record show that you never asked me to do anything wrong, and I never asked you to do anything dirty, evil, partisan, or unlawful. Let me start this again. This is strange to me. So right there, so you can see Delaware Chuck's background as a lawyer. Right? He's like, let the record show that you never asked me to do anything wrong, and I never asked you to do anything dirty, evil, partisan, or unlawful. It continues, and I quote, I did not know of you as any wrongdoer, as so many have made you out to be. I did not know you as any political don, as many believe and characterize you. I did not know you as a killer or a murderer, as those who have conspired and killed you so alleged. I did not know you well, as you were a secretive and reserved person. Stop this one. Yes, I know you're confused, because all along it sounds like Delaware Chuck knew this man. All along, Delaware Chuck is talking like he's giving a character reference to somebody who he knows well, because if you're going to make them statement there, the vouching we do for him earlier, it kind of strange now when you're going to add in, I did not know you well. Mr. Justice Minister, you did not know him well, but you're writing his eulogy? Matter of fact, let me read that part again. I did not know you well, as you were a secretive and reserved person. In other words, I barely know you. You see, Delaware Chuck is flexing his legal background as well. The way how him write it, he's saying, I lie to my tell upon you, but at the same time, you can't hold him to that. Take in this part. I did not know you as any wrongdoer, as many have made you out to be. When you read that, you're thinking to yourself, well, he's saying nothing go so, but him not actually say nothing go so. But have not listen to me. When him say, I did not know you as any political don, as many believe and characterize you, he must put doubt in your mind, say anything go so, say Andrew Phang was not done, but at the same time, him not say nothing go so. Are you still with me? Him say, I did not know you as a killer or a murderer, as those who have conspired and killed you so alleged. In other words, he's raising doubt in your mind that Andrew Phang wasn't a murderer, at the same time he's not saying go so. Notice the word they use, conspired and killed. So yes, that was actually a part of the eulogy for Andrew Phang, written by the current Justice Minister, Delaware Chuck. So now we talk about the argument of Dons being allowed to issue out for them street justice. This is actually promoted by even some people who are from the intellectual side of things, or the scholars, or I don't know what you call them. Let me just say scholars. So-called scholars argue that Dons issuing street justice should be tolerated as they get better and faster results. The same activist, same scholar, argue that regardless of how evil a man is, he must get due process. Let's explore the argument. Look at YouTuber style. When a Don hears somebody commits an unsanctioned crime and orders the person beaten or killed, does the person who is beaten or killed not deserve for them to be in a court? I'm asking you, Mr. Mrs. Scholar. And notice what I say, unsanctioned crime. When clansman or one other presidential clique beat and kill somebody because them rob somebody, it's not because there are a problem with the crime itself, it's because it was unsanctioned. They're not killing the person out of some morality of, oh, you're a criminal, let me kill you, that would be ridiculous. It's because it was unsanctioned. In other words, the Dan never said they're going to do it. So who tell them to do it? Woke activists are happy for Dons to be judge, jury, and executioner, but not the security forces. Let me repeat that. Yes, we have to dig deep in that. So I have to big up the PIA, big up the Patreon squad. And we know some they tune in with a certain level of reasoning, so we're going at today. Don't know Vulture Squad always circling for scraps because what else are Vultures supposed to do? So big up Vulture Squad too. But PIA, Patreon squad, we'll talk about it now. Woke activists are happy for Dons to be judge, jury, and executioner, but not the security forces. So the Don can kill because him here say you're a gunman, but the Don shouldn't be killed because police here say him a gunman. Dons, 87s, deserve legal representation and due process, but the people who the Don deemed deserving of death don't. Right? People argue say, well, him violate, so them kill him. Let me say him rob, so them kill him. Let me say him thief, so them kill him. Right? And I said never go because, street justice and hold on. You see, if you're around at the time the Andrew Phang thing went down, right, this was a big debate. People like the late Marty Perkins, the late Ian Boyne, right, were tackling this subject back then. You see, many activists, many scholars will defend the Don's right to the death, right, as in the Don's human rights to the death, but ignore the rights of those who the Don deems persona non grata. Or somebody like a Andrew Phang or a Dodos or a Zeeks or a Tesha, how them get people to bend to them will? Is it because they're so nice? And people say, well, he's a nice guy, they must work with them, say. And let's talk about charities. Everybody know the fastest way to get people on your side is charities. Gangs help the community, quote unquote, help the community for the same reasons politicians give handouts close to election. Survival. If a gang wants to survive, it must have the support of the residents. They need to get tip off when police are come. They want roadblock when 87's dead, etc. No matter how brutal the gang, it must have internal support to survive. Otherwise, people are going to call the police and police are going to kill them off. No matter how bad they want to be, people are going to keep out the police. This is why even the most brutal dons are so popular in their hometown and their home turf. They send their 87s to terrorize other rival communities. This is a fairly basic understanding of how bad man place work. You don't thief, you don't break in a house, you don't carry out unsanctioned murders, you don't run a ripper in the community. Anything you want to do, you go out of port go do it. Whether a bulby, Tesha in no matter. Right? This is an old tactic. This means that when you ask some residents about a Don, or even 87, they will tell us, say, he's a good man. He made us feel safe. Even though the neighboring community, right, get terrorized, for them house get burned down, for them women get hold down, right, for them sons and fathers get murdered, people in this community have favorable reviews because nothing na go on, yes sir. Him na kill nobody, yes sir. Him na burn on the house, yes sir. It make we feel safe. People are not speaking about it from a holistic point of view. Right, that same Don, the same gang, wage acts of terrorism against other people. But the residents in the home community of the gang, right, don't see that, don't feel that. That is why enough of them would look you dead in the eye and tell us, say, we miss him because him did make we feel safe. Again, this is an old tactic that many scholars can't see through. So when them turn up and them say, tell us about this Don. People say, he was a good man. He make you feel safe. The robbery not go on, no house not broken. What they mean is, the shooting not go on and no house not broken. Yes sir. The man then go next door go do that. So let me ask you something. If I'm a 90 octane, if I send my 87 to burn down my neighboring communities, or political rivals' place, but don't light any fires in my community. Does it not count as arson? If I invade homes in the areas that are my rivals, but leave the ones in my community untouched, am I still not a home invader? If I leave the girls them in my area alone, and then go all over Jamaica, right, go take with females, take with this girl, take with that girl, take with Jasmine Dean, am I any less of a femicidal maniac? The fact that I'm not in my area, what does that prove? Am I now a quote-unquote good man? Well, in kill enough women but not kill them yourself. Is that really your argument? There's a reason it took 2022 to see some decent laws get right. The political class in Jamaica had no desire to get rid of their spawns, to get rid of their picnic them, unless said picnic them, said spawns, step out of line and upset them. So the whole argument said dance like Andrew Phang, that was Zeke's Tesha. And them for running so because them get things done and one time a man thief and I come in and broke in foot and broke in hand. You think Tesha, Andrew Phang, Dodos, Zeke's, termite them? You think when they beat a man because him kill somebody is because they're against murder? You think when they beat a man because he rob somebody they're against robbery? Do you think when they kill a man, right, because he invade a home, they're against home invasion? No. That's absurd. These are gangs. They have a problem with unsanctioned crimes, especially when it happens at their home turf, because they need to keep the support of the local residents. That's how they stay one step ahead of the security forces. So the argument about police extrajudicial killings is a fair argument. But if you're going to make that argument, you cannot say you support street justice and don't carrying out for them version of justice. CM courthouse where you say the done entitled to, the person who the done a beat and kill would also be entitled to that. But you probably don't care about that person. You don't know that person. That person isn't famous. The person in the car and the song. The person on the money. You say, well, we can't just kill man say, cause how know say I really him? But how you know say the person who done a beat and kill I really them? I mean, at least try and be consistent. So, I'm going to leave that one there just up and down. Anyway, Patreon Squad, big up on yourself. Yeah, you don't know, more live. Culture Squad, see you circling. Bless.